Another lacking, all black, don't draw attention, cause it's just not enough room in this small city. Cleaning crew is out to get you, can you dodge 50? 50-50 odds, hear the applause in the black, ripping through the avenues in the parks full of guys chilling at the bar, cause mama boyfriend Ron tripping, ripping through their hearts with what he doing after dark, and mama working late and she don't know cause they don't have the heart. It's safe to say in them shoes, they dark in them. Swim the shore before the whales and the sharks get them. So many bodies in them waters, you ain't gotta swim them. You on the shoulders of the fallen, trying to outlive them.
Hey, shalom, shalom, family. First and foremost, we're going to give all praises to the Heavenly Father. Right, we do so by hamashiach, Yahawashi. I'm your brother, Captain Azariah, FOG. The water for everybody coming through. We got our brother Yeshaya here, our brother Jeremiah here out of New Orleans, and brother Yeshaya, he's in Dallas. Y'all brothers go ahead and greet everybody, Kings.
Shalom, shalom, Akim. This brother Yeshaya from FOG coming out of Dallas. Again, man, hit that like button. Make sure you hit the email. You know, if you want to join. I'm ready to rock, man.
Shalom, this is your brother Jeremiah from New Orleans. Like you said, hit that FOG classroom, Fire Guide classroom if you want to join the ministry and get ready for this good edification.
Yeah, while we're waiting on the powerful captain. How you doing today, Ak?
Doing good. How about you?
Man, I'm good, man. Hey, man, enduring to the end, right?
Man, what? Best as we can.
Yeah,
You on mute, Cap.
Oh, Salakia. Thank y'all. Salakia, brothers. Yeah, we're going to keep enduring, man, and we're going to keep on pressing, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? All praises to the Heavenly Father. Salakia, my brothers, I had to step away for a second. One more second, brother Jeremiah, did you go ahead and introduce yourself too?
Con.
With that, make sure y'all hit that like button too. All right? Like, share, and subscribe. 1 second, family. Tiffany.
Yeah.
Can you get Asher? I'm the dope one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, like, if she gonna be out there with you, I don't.
Hey, mute up, Akim. You got your camera off, but you got your music. I mean, you got your sound on, Captain.
Oh, Salaki, my dog, family at the door whining. So I didn't want him to be a hindrance to our to our lesson. So Salaki, family. But again, appreciate everybody coming through. All right. Again, I'm your brother, Captain Azariah, FOG. All right. As we said before, hit that like button. Make sure you're sharing this video. Make sure you all subscribe, family. All right. Everybody see the lesson. This is going to build off the lesson that we did, that we started last week on Thursday. All right. Which the first part was strength and beauty, and we talked about our ancient sisters of old. All right. We're going to continue to build on that today, talking about our dear beloved sister Judith. All right. All right. So again, if you haven't hit the like button, hit that button. Make sure you subscribe. We're gonna go ahead and get into it. Hey, I'm gonna ask brother Yaram Salakia, if I'm saying your new name wrong. The brother just got this name newly mentioned. All praise to the Heavenly Father. But I'm gonna ask you to grab Judith chapter 1, and then I'm gonna ask brother Yeshaya to grab Judith chapter 2. All right. And we're gonna get started talking about our sister. But before we start there, let's go over a couple things about Judith. Let me share my screen real quick. All right. Let me share my screen. And can y'all see that? Right. Con. Yeshaya, can you read that for me? Can you see it? Is it big enough to make it a little bit bigger? So you can.
Salakia, let me grab my iPad. I thought I was gonna be able to do this off of my phone, but the screen is not as big as I thought it was gonna be.
Okay, Con, go ahead.
Give me 1 second.
Con, you good? So I made that a little bit bigger. Lord willing, everybody else can see it a little bit better too, right? But so the sister Judith, right? Let's start with a look at her name and what it actually means, right? So the name Judith comes from the Hebrew, which means praise. Absolutely, right? And this is kind of a derivative of Judah, right? And we'll see that in a second. So it means praise and woman of Judah, right? Or woman Salaki, woman of Judea, right? It's the feminine form of the name Judah. All right. So everybody sees that. So meaning, I like this right here. Judith can be translated as woman of Judea. All right. Or Jewish woman. No, it's woman of Judea. All right. That is a more accurate rendering of what the sister's name meant. All right. So basically, her name means praise and woman of Judea. And it's ironic, you know what I mean, that her name means praise. And of course, that's what the one who be praised, because she gonna do something that's really praiseworthy, right? And we're gonna see that, and we're gonna get into that here in just a little bit. If you could for me,
Salakia, can you send me the link one more time to my phone, and then I can connect it like that?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you could just send it right to my number, and then I got it.
I got you. There you go. You should have it, King. All righty. But if you could, Salakia.
You want me to go?
No. I want Brother Yaramya to grab Judith. I had you holding Judith chapter 1, but I want you to grab for me Judith chapter 8 and verse 1. All right?
8 and 1.
Yeah. 8 and 1, you want to read verses 1 and 2. Let me put this up on the screen too, Salakia, for everybody. Again, hit the like button. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you subscribe. All right? If you're watching this live right now, please, it greatly helps us out if you hit the like button. We ain't asking you to give us any money, you know what I'm saying? Even though donations are greatly appreciated, all right? But that's not what we're asking for. We just want you to hit that like button. Make sure you're sharing this video. All right, family? All right? So if you could do that for us, of course, that would be greatly appreciated. So go ahead and read that for me. Judah chapter 8, verse 1.
This is the book of Judah, chapter 8, verse 1. Now, at that time, Judith heard thereof, which was the daughter of Merari, the son of Ox, the son of Joseph, the son of Bozil, the son of Elisha, the son of Anias, the son of Gideon, and the son of Raphim, the son of Asito, the son of Elu, the son of Eliab, the son of Nathaniel, the son of Samuel, the son of Salsadeh, and the son of Israel.
Right, and read the second verse.
And Manasseh was her husband, of her tribe and kindred, who died in the barley harvest.
All right, so Manasseh was her husband, and they were of the same tribe and kindred. All right, now jump over to chapter 9. And let's read verses 1 and 2 right here real quick, Barbecue Shot. So we just want to, I'm just showing you, we gave the definition of her name. No, her name needs to be praised, right? Just giving a quick little backstory on Judith herself. And it means women of Judea. All right. Also, we saw that we're about to see what tribe exactly that she's from. We know that her and her husband are the same tribe, and they're definitely of the tribes of Israel. So let's see what tribe they're from. Read verse 1 and 2.
It's the book of Judah, chapter 9, verse 1. Then Judith fell upon her face and put ashes upon her head and uncovered the sackcloth wherewith she was clothed.
Uh-huh.
And about the time that the incense of that evening was offered in Jerusalem in the house of the Lord, Judith cried with a loud voice and said, O Lord God of my father Simeon,
See that? O Lord of my father Simeon, right? That's the tribe. She's of the tribe of Simeon, right? Read on.
to whom thou gavest a sword to take vengeance of the strangers who loosened the girdle of a maid to defile her.
Woo! Y'all see that? You know what that's talking about, huh? Right? That's talking about when Simeon and Levi, you know what I'm saying, went to work on them Hamites who took their sister dear. Right? They weren't having that. Okay? Right? Read that again from the top, right?
Verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
O Lord God of my father Simeon, to whom thou gavest a sword to take vengeance of the strangers who loosened the girdle of a maid to defile her, and discovered the thigh to her shame, and
See
polluted.
That? See that? That's their sister. That's his sister, right? Read on.
And polluted her virginity to her reproach. For thou saidest, it shall not be so, and yet they did so.
Right. Because their father, vis-a-vis the Most High, was basically telling them, don't do that. You know what I mean? He wanted to have peace with the Hamites that dwelt round about. Right? But they was like, nah, bro, this heathen defiled our sister. You know what I mean? So that's the spirit of her ancestors. That's important. All right. Remember, right? Read it one more time. I just want you to read the top clause. O Lord of our father Simeon, real quick.
O Lord God of my father Simeon, to whom thou gavest a sword to take vengeance of the strangers.
All right, pause. Right there. Remember that right there. To whom thou givest a sword to take vengeance of the strangers, the heathens. All right. All right. Now, let's jump back over to chapter 1. All right. So now we know she's from the tribe of Simeon. We see to whom the Most High give us a sword to take vengeance on the strangers. Right. This is in reference again to the Hamites that took their sister dear, and then they were told by their father Jacob not to make any problems with these people, but they did so anyway. All right. But the point is, to whom the Lord, the Most High, give us the sword to take vengeance on the stranger. That's what we want to pay attention to. All right. So now let's go back to chapter 1. All right. And we're going to lay out the story of Judah and show you her strength and her beauty. All right. Her strength and her beauty. So let's start at verse 1. All right.
Book of Judith, chapter 1, verse 1. In the 12th year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, who reigned in Nineveh, the great city, in the days of Arphaxad, which reigned over the Medes in Ecbatane.
Right. See that? Keep going. Read on.
And built in Ecbatane walls round about of stones, whom 3 cubits broad and 6 cubits long, and made the heights of the wall 70 cubits, and the breadth thereof 50 cubits.
So he built is a high wall outside of his city, and this is the king of the Assyrians. All right. Right. This is not the time of the Persian Medes. This is that's not a city in Media. All right. But let's continue. Read verse 5.
Verse 5. Even in those days, King Nebuchadnezzar made war with King Arphaxad in the great plain which is the plain and the borders of Rago.
Jump down, verse 7.
Verse 7. Then Nebuchadnezzar, king of Assyrians,
See that? He's the king of the who?
Assyrians,
King of the Assyrians. All right, just keep going.
sent unto all that dwell in Persia, and to all that dwell westward, and to those that dwelt in Sicilia and Damascus, and Libanus and Antibanus, and to all that dwelt upon the sea coast,
All right, read on.
and to those among the nations that were of Carmel and Galilee, and the higher Galilee, and the great plain of Esdron,
Right, verse 9, keep going.
and to all that were in Samaria, and to the cities thereof, and beyond Jordan unto Jerusalem, and Bethane, and Kilias, and Cades, and the river of Egypt, and Taphines, and Ramses, and all the land of Jeshem.
God, right. Keep going, verse 10. So he's sending out message to all these nations in that area. You know, these are all nations neighboring Judea. You got Egypt around there. You just got a bunch of nations that he sent messenger to, right? Watch this, keep going.
Until verse 10, until ye come beyond Tanis and Memphis, and to all the inhabitants of Egypt, until you come.
Memphis, right? This place, America, is what? Spiritually what? Spiritually Egypt and Sodom. But that's a different story for a different day, right? Let's keep going.
And to all the inhabitants of Egypt, until ye come to the borders of Ethiopia.
Right. So he sent word, I mean that, basically I'm coming for y'all. Get ready for war. Right? Read verse 11.
Verse 11. But all the inhabitants of the land made light of the commandment of Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians.
See that? They made light of him, right? They thought he was lightweight. All right. Let's see. Keep going.
Neither went they with him to the battle, for they were not afraid of him. Yeah, he was before them as one man, and they sent away his ambassadors from them without effect and with disgrace.
See that? They played as ambassadors, right? Like, nah, bro, get out of here, man. We ain't dealing with you. Not worried about no King Nebuchadnezzar. All right? Kick rocks and beat it. Right? Read on. Verse 12.
Thereof, Nebuchadnezzar was very angry with all this country, and swear by his throne and kingdom that he will surely be avenged upon all those coasts of Sicilia and Damascus and Syria, and that he would slay with the sword all the inhabitants of the land of Moab, and the children of Ammon, and all Judea.
See that? He said that, they tried to play me? Oh, they tried to play me? That's what he's saying in stuff, basically, right? Nah, I'm not about to let this slide, all right? He said that I'm going to surely, right, avenge myself on all these nations, right? All the way up into the land of Judea, right? Read on.
And all that were in Egypt, till ye come to the borders of the two seas.
All right, all the way to the I think that's the Red Sea. I forget the other sea that's talking about, right? But read on.
Verse 13. Then he marched in battle array with his power against King Arphaxad in the 17th year, and he prevailed in his battle, for he overthrew all the power of Arphaxad and all his horsemen and all his chariots. Verse 14. And became lord of his cities, and came unto Ecbatane, and took the towers, and spoiled the streets thereof, and turned the beauty thereof into shame.
See that? See that? Keep going. Let's finish up this chapter. 2 more verses.
Verse 15. He also took also Arphaxad in the mountains of Ragu, and smote him through with his darts, and destroyed him utterly that day. So he returned afterward to Nineveh, both he and all his company of sundry nations, being a very great multitude of men of war. And there he took his ease, and banqueted both he and his army, in 120 days.
Right. So he got his payback for all of them, for a lot of those lands that were not afraid of him. That he said that he would surely avenge himself upon. All right. So this is the king of the Assyrians. And this time frame is during the time of the judges. So Israel did not have a king. Just so that I could lay out the time frame for everybody. All right. There was no king in Israel from the line of Judah. Basically, the high priest would be the highest authority. All right. Or whatever judge that Yahweh would have set up at that time to rule over Israel. All right. During this time. All right. So let's start in chapter 2. And let's start at verse 1.
Book of Judah, chapter 2, verse 1. And in the 18th year, the 22nd day of the first month, there was talk in the house of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of the Assyrians, that he should, as he said, avenge himself on all the earth.
Avenge himself upon the whole earth, man. When I bring this out, right, you're gonna really see something, man. Right? Keep going.
Verse 2. So he called unto him all his officers and all his nobles, and communicated with them his secret counsel, and concluded the afflicting of the whole earth out of his own mouth.
See that? Concluded the afflicting of the whole earth out his own mouth, right? Like man, I'm about to rule the whole earth, man. And there's a movie, and there's a king in that movie who does something kind of similar to this, and talking kind of this talk, right? They got the. We'll get to it. I don't want to spoil it before we really get there. Let's see where we at. Let's keep going, right, till we get to verse 7.
Verse 3. Then they decreed to destroy all flesh that did not obey the commandment of his mouth.
Salaki, I think you showing, if I'm not mistaken, you showing like verse 13.
Oh, yeah, I need to move to the next chapter, Salakia. Yeah, Salakia, so everybody can keep up. My apologies, family. All right, keep going.
Verse 4. And when he had ended his counsel, Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, called Holofernes, the chief captain of his army, which was next unto him, and said unto him,
right, so Holofernes, right, he called, this is his number 2, right? This is just like when you read in the book of, I think that's in Joshua, when the number 2 the captain of Yahweh's army appeared to Joshua, right? He said, me being the captain of the Lord's armies, all right? So I'm not saying that it's the same. I'm just saying, as in he's the number 2 Holofernes, right up under King Nebuchadnezzar, all right? And the captain basically ruled over all his armies. Let's keep going.
Verse 5. Thus saith the great king, the Lord of the whole earth, behold, thou shalt go forth from my presence, and take with thee men that trust in their own strength, of footmen, 120,000, and the number of horses with their riders 12,000. And thou shalt go against all the west country, because they disobeyed my commandment.
Right, so he had took out a certain portion. I think maybe he had started out eastward, right? Now he's going to the westward countries. He's sending his number 2, and he has a certain regiment that he's taking with him. Right? Let's keep going. Finish up.
Verse 7. And thou shalt declare unto them that they prepare for me earth and water.
Yeah,
for I will earth and water.
Thou prepares for me earth and water. That should sound familiar to y'all, right? Keep going.
For I will go forth in my wrath against them, and will cover the whole face of the earth with the feet of mine army, and I will give them for a spoil unto them.
Right, pause right here. All right. So, y'all familiar with the movie 300?
God.
Yep.
So spoiler alert, right? That's what a lot of the story of 300 comes from the book of Judith. All right. I know this. They render it in the movie as these are Spartans. You know what I mean? And that it's the king of the Persian Medes, Xerxes, coming in after his father Darius was slain. But actually, what it's actually based on is the events of when King Nebuchadnezzar was trying to come. He had conquered a whole bunch, just like in the movie, right? So he was trying to take Israel, just like Xerxes was trying to take the Spartans or take Sparta. All right. This is the real. This is what the story is based on. So let's play something. Let me share my screen real quick. Let's play this right here.
You sweat here, the less you need in battle. My father taught me that fear is always a constant. But accepting it will make you stronger.
My queen, the Persian emissary awaits Leonidas.
In the end, the Spartan's true strength is the warrior next to him. So give respect and honor to him, and it will be returned to you.
Is that not a principle in our culture, right? Right, no greater love than a man having to lay down his life for his brother, right? Love thy brother as thyself, right?
Right out of Yahawashi very own mouth.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, like most movies, you know, really pretty much every movie that's ever been made is basically the same story being retold over and over again, just in a different way. Real talk. I can't lie to y'all. I mean, like if you have a ear to hear and you got that keen eye to catch it, you'll see every movie is the same thing over and over again. They're just telling the story in a different way using different fictional characters. All right.
First, you fight with your head.
Then you fight with your heart.
See that? See what she said? First, you fight with your heart and your mind, right? How many times we see that in the scriptures, right? All your heart and all your mind. That's how we keep it. We have to keep the commandments, right?
What is it?
A Persian messenger awaits you.
Do not forget today's lesson.
Respect and honor.
Respect and honor.
What? Respect and honor.
Before you speak, Persian, know that in Sparta, everyone, even a king's messenger, is held accountable for the words of his voice. Now, what message do you bring?
Earth and water.
Huh? Huh? Earth and water? Oh, they got right? This is the emissary or the messenger, right, of the king of the Persians. Just like we just read in Judith, the king of the Assyrians, he sent his emissary, his messenger to all those nations. And he told them to ask for what? Earth and water, right? That's we'll see. He's going in this video, he'll go on and kind of explain exactly what it means.
Do not be coy or stupid, Persian. You can afford neither in Sparta.
What makes this woman think she can speak among men?
Because only Spartan women give birth to real men.
Oh, man. They put that in there. I'm going to tell you why. Because they know that this is ringing off on the story of Judith, by the way. All right?
Let us walk to cool our tongues.
If you value your lives over your complete annihilation, listen carefully, Leonidas. Xerxes conquers and controls everything he rests his eyes upon. He leads an army so massive it shakes the ground with its march, so vast it drinks the rivers dry. All the god King Xerxes requires is this, a simple.
See what he called himself? The God King. And basically, King Nebuchadnezzar was kind of calling himself something similar, right?
Salaki, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead, King.
So would this be somewhat like in reverse? You know what I'm saying? And of course, we're not talking about colorism. What I'm saying is, would this be an opposite of these would be black people, and then that ambassador that came, maybe he was an Edomite, maybe?
You're talking about the actual story of the Spartans?
Right, the actual story.
Yeah, the real actual story of the Spartans, I was going to get into that. The real Spartans were Macedonians, right? The Macedonians were Israelites. So yes.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
the real Spartans, they were Israelites, by the way. Spoiler alert, right? Everybody knows that. Even Frank Miller in his graphic novel, he depicted the Spartans to be darker, of a darker hue, right? If you look up Frank Miller's graphic novel on the 300, all right?
Offering of earth and water, a token of Sparta's submission to the will.
See? The earth and water is a token to show that you're going to submit. All right?
Will of Xerxes.
Submission. No, that's a bit of a problem.
See, Urania, hey, read verse in chapter 2, read verse 5 real quick.
It's the book of Judah, chapter 2, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Thus said the great king, the Lord of the whole earth, behold.
See that? He said, read that one more time.
Thus said the great king, the Lord of the whole earth.
See, the great king, Lord of the whole earth. That's what Nebuchadnezzar called himself. In this movie, Xerxes called himself the God King, ruler of the whole earth. See that?
Right.
Say a few words, right? That's all. We see what you're doing. Let's finish this up. Con, that's good. You can drop that out.
See, rumor has it the Athenians have already turned you down. And if those philosophers and boy lovers...
You see what he called the Greeks? That's the Athenians, right? Them the Greeks, right? He called them philosophers and little boy lovers, man, right? Even the movies get it right sometimes. They got that right? Even though all the rest of this is jacked up, they got that right. The ancient Greek and the current Greeks too. All right, let's continue.
I found that kind of nerve.
We must be diplomatic.
And of course, Spartans have their reputation to consider.
Choose your next words carefully, Leonidas. They may be your last as king.
Madman. You're a madman.
Earth and water. Well, you'll find plenty of both down there.
No man, Persian or Greek, no man threatens a messenger.
You bring the crowns and heads of conquered kings to my city step.
See that? He brought the heads of the conquered kings, right? And their crowns, right? And asked for submission, earth and water. All right. Read verse 7 for me one more time.
It's the book of Judah, 2, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt declare unto them that they prepare for me earth and water.
Mm-hmm.
For I will go forth in my wrath against them, and will cover the whole face of the earth with the feet of mine army. And I will.
Hold on. Didn't he say that he said he what hold that? Watch this. See, I didn't even catch that when I was putting this together. He said the same thing basically. Right?
He said the same exact thing.
He said the same thing. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, that was nice.
Before you speak, Persian, no accountable for the words of his voice. Now, what message do you bring?
Earth and water.
Do not be coy or stupid, Persian. You can afford neither in Sparta.
What makes this woman think she can speak among men?
Because only Spartan women give birth to real men.
Let us walk.
I think this is what he's about to say right here.
If you value your lives over your complete annihilation, listen carefully, Midas. Xerxes conquers and controls everything he rests his eyes upon. He leads an army so massive it shakes the ground with its march, so vast it drinks the rivers dry. All the god King Xerxes requires is this: a simple offering of earth and water.
See that? That's the same thing. Read verse 7 again.
It's the book of Judah 2 verse 7. And thou shalt declare unto them that they prepare for me earth and water. For I will go forth in my wrath against them, and will cover the face of the earth with the feet of mine army.
See that? He said cover the face of the whole earth. Basically, he said that he got an army so big it'll blot out the sun. That's the same thing. Whew, man. Right? Finish that verse up.
And I will give them for a spoil unto them.
Con. Right. Now let's finish this. Let's finish this scene up, and then we'll get back to it. Right?
You good kings to my city steps. You insult my queen. You threaten my people with slavery and death. Oh, I've chosen my words carefully, Persian. Perhaps you should have done the same.
This is blasphemy. This is madness.
Madness. This is Sparta!
Yeah, and one thing I just want to add is that, with movies like this, not to be triggered, because these are historically inaccurate, depictions of events that, occurred, right? And of course, Esau going to put himself, him being the hegemony of the whole world right now, he's going to put himself as, he's doing everything heroic, you know what I mean? So, we don't have to worry about, don't want to be triggered by things like that. But
and can I add on to that?
Go ahead.
Even back in those times, if you watch any movies of like Exodus, anything like that, you already see like even the Egyptians are Edomites.
Right? Yeah, right.
Historically inaccurate, so we don't get triggered, man. So all praises.
Yeah, Khan, that's why I wanted to. It was a good question that the brother Yeshaya asked, so that we could clarify and literally who these people were and what it would have been like. But the main point is to show how they used this movie and took a lot of stuff out of context when it's really the story of Judah during the time of King Nebuchadnezzar, during the time of the judges for, if you're looking at in Israel's time frame, ancient history. All right. But let's continue. Let's pick up at verse 14. Where we want to pick up at verse 14 in chapter 2.
The book of Judah, chapter 2, verse 14. Then Holofernes went forth from the presence of his Lord, and called all the governors and captains and the officers of the army of Ashur. And he mustered the chosen men for the battle, as his Lord commanded him, and unto 120,000.
Pause. The armies of Ashur, the Assyrians, because the Assyrians, they go back to Ashur, who was the son of Shem. All right, so these people were Shemitic. All right, not Israelites. Don't go. Captain Azariah said that he was Israelite. No, I didn't. I said that they came from Shem. All right, and they were Shemitic people. Shem had a whole. There's a bunch of nations that came out of Shem. All right, so that's why when you hear, you shouldn't be triggered by things like when these small hats talk about anti-Semite. All right, many nations, right?
Edomites.
Esau is a Shemite. Them slant-eyed motherfucker at your corner store serving you cat, rat, and dog, allegedly, right? Them slant coin eyes, right? Them Shemites, all right? Them people Shemitic, all right? But I just wanted to point out, which says the army of Ashur, because when you see in Genesis, right, you see that Shem, one of Shem's sons was Ashur, and these are descendants of them. All right. Read verse 15.
Verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
And he mustered the chosen men for the battle, as his Lord had commanded him, unto 120,000, and 12,000 archers on horseback.
Right. And verse 16.
And he ranged them as a great army is ordered for the war.
God, so he like, hey man, it's time to get to it. All right. Let's read verse 24.
Verse 24. Then he went over Euphrates and went through Mesopotamia and destroyed all the high cities that were upon the river Arbanai till ye come to the sea.
Right. Let's jump down to chapter 3 and let's read verses 1 through 3. All right.
The book of Judah, chapter 3, verse 1. So they sent ambassadors unto him to treat of peace, saying, Behold, we the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, the great king, lie before thee. Use us as shall be good in thy sight. Behold, our houses and all our places, and all our fields of wheat and flocks and herds, and all the lodges of our tents lie before thy face. Use them as it pleaseth thee.
Right. So all the nations that he first came, they was all like, look, man, we don't want no smoke with you. All right. We don't want no smoke, so we just gonna go ahead and we're gonna lay down. Right. Read verse 8.
Verse 8. Yet did he cast down their frontiers and cut down their groves, for he had decreed to destroy all the gods of the land, that all nations should worship Nebuchadnezzar only, and that all tongues and tribes should call upon him as God.
As what?
As God.
Now, what did he call the Xerxes and the thing we just watched? The God King?
God.
Didn't I tell you the story of Judah is the story of the 300? Okay? Just like the story of Esther is Cinderella. I might do a breakdown on that one day. All right? If y'all didn't know, by the way. Right? Again, the story of Judah is the story of the 300, right? This is where the inspiration to write that screenplay came from, right? And then again, as I just said, the story of Esther that you read in Esther is really is that the story of Cinderella. All right, read verse 8 one more time.
Book of Judith, chapter 3, verse 8. Yet he did cast down their frontiers and cut down their groves, for he had decreed to destroy all the gods of the land, that all nations should worship Nebuchadnezzar only, and that all tongues and tribes should call upon him as God.
Right. As Xerxes in 300 wanted to become the God King, right? And that's what he said in one scene. I'm not pulling that particular scene up, but he talked about how he was going to avenge himself upon taking the throne, right? He was vengeance because of in that movie because of the death of his father Darius. All right. Now let's jump down to chapter 4 and let's start at verse 1 and read verse 1 through 3.
Book of Judith, chapter 4, verse 1. Now the children of Israel that dwelt in Judea heard all that Holofernes, the chief captain of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of the Assyrians, had done to the nations, and after what manner he had spoiled all their temples and brought them to naught.
See that? So the Israelites, they hearing about what's going on. They hearing about how the Assyrians, right, and this king Nebuchadnezzar, how he just wrecking shop through that coast, right? All through that Asiatic coast right there, right? He just destroying nations, man, taking slaves, making them call him the God King, right? Just keep going.
Verse 2. Therefore they were exceedingly afraid of him, and were troubled for Jerusalem and for the temple of the Lord their God.
Right. So, you know, our ancestors, they sitting back, you know what I mean? Like, yo, man, I hope they ain't come this way, you know? Because like I said, as we know, as you read get Judges, Josiah chapter 1. All right, get Judges, I believe that's
Chapter 1 and what you need.
1 and 1. I want to start at the beginning.
This is Judges chapter 1 and 1. Now, after the death of him, now after the death of Joshua, it came to pass that the children of Israel asked the Lord, saying, who shall go up for us against the Canaanites first to fight against them?
Right, read on.
And the Lord said, Judith shall go up. Behold, I will deliver the land into his hand. And Judah said unto Simeon, his brother, come up with me into my lot, and we may fight against the Canaanites. And I likewise will go with thee into thy lot. So Simeon went with him.
Pause. All right. You good right there. Let me see. I'm trying to find what I'm looking for real quick because that's not what I actually wanted. Let me see. Okay. I think it might be in chapter. Yeah. In Children of Israel. Right. Chapter 2, verse 6. Mm-hmm.
And when Joshua had let the people go, Salakia, my page. And Salakia. And when Joshua had let the people go, oh, I'm missing the word here. Sorry.
I got it up.
The page was ripped.
I got it up.
Go ahead.
It's the book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
And when Joshua had let the people go, the children of Israel went every man unto his inheritance to possess the land.
Right. Read verse 7.
And the people served the Lord all the days of Joshua and all the days of the elders that outlived Joshua,
right,
who had seen all the great works of the Lord that he did for Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And Joshua, the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died, being 110 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Timoth Herns in the
Right.
mount of Ephraim on the north side of the hill Gash.
Right. Verse 10.
And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers, and there arose another generation after them, which they knew not the Lord, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel.
Right. The point is, it was really verse 6, is that all the children of Israel, they went everybody into their own land, and basically they kind of did as they so pleased, right? There was no centralized theocracy that everybody was following. You know, everybody was kind of doing their own thing during the time of the judges. All right. So let's jump back where we were at in Judith. Sure. We were in chapter 4, right?
Yeah, 4 verse 2.
Let's continue till we get to verse 3. Right? Keep going.
Judith chapter 4, verse 3. For they were newly returned from the captivity, and all the people of Judea were lately gathered together, and the vessels and the altar and the house were sanctified after the profanation.
Right. Jump down to verse 6, Salakia.
Verse 6. Also Joachim the high priest, which was in those days in Jerusalem, wrote to them that dwelt in Bethulia and Bethsam, which is over against Estrelion, toward the open country, near to Dothan.
Right, read on.
Charging them to keep the passages of the hill country.
Charging them to do what?
To keep the passages of the hill country.
All right. So when they heard about what was going on with King Nebuchadnezzar, right? Of course, as we read, the Israelites, they were fearful. Read verse 3 again for me.
Verse 3. For they were
Mm-hmm.
newly returned from the captivity, and all the people of
Mm-hmm.
Judea were lately gathered together, and the
Right, from
vessels.
the captivity, right? From what captivity? Remember, during the time of the judges, right? Israel was always getting jacked up. Everybody got a piece of Israel during that time. All the neighbors round about them, right? The Ammonites, the Moabites, the Edomites, you know what I mean? The Gershonites, whatever, whoever. They was all during the time of judges. Israel so that's why I said they were coming back from the captivity. They would be transgressing real heavy. Yahweh would send some heathen nation in during the time of the judges to jack us up. They take us captive for a while, and then he sent a judge to deliver us. You know what I mean? That's basically what you read in Judges. That's why I want you to read verse 3 again, right? Finish that verse up again, verse 3.
Verse 3. For they were newly
Mhm.
returned from the captivity, and all the people of Judea were lately gathered together, and the vessels and the altar and the house were sanctified after the profanation.
Right. So after the heathens came in, they profaned it. That's what these heathens always do. They all come in and profane our temple, want to take stuff up out of it. You know what I mean? You know, so we have to purify it and re-sanctify it to Yahweh when that would happen. All right. So it was saying they just came back from the captivity. They were taking care of re-sanctifying the temple after they had been profaned by the heathens who had taken them. All right. So now let's pick back up at verse 6, right?
Verse 6.
Again.
Also Joachim the high priest, which was in those days in Jerusalem, wrote to them that dwelt in Bethulia and Bethshem, which is over against Esdraelon, toward the open country near to Doethim. Verse 7. Charging them to keep the passages of the hill country, for by them
to keep the passages of the what?
Of the hill country.
Of the hill country, right? Read on.
For by them there was an entrance into Judea, and it was easy to stop them that would come up, because the passages were straight, for two men at the most. Was straight.
Because the passages were straight, and because they would have 2 men at the most. Oh, let's go back. I got another video to show y'all. All right, so let me share my screen. Right, for those who are familiar with the movie 300. Right, again, right, as we talked about, as we've been showing that the story of Judith again is a story of the 300. All right.
Salakia, what was that at again? Was that that was 4 and 7?
4 and 7. Right. Verses 6 and 7. All right. And this is a major MacGuffin, so to speak, in the movie 300. Right. It says that read verse 7 one more time for me before we watch this little video.
Book of Judith 4 verse 7. Charging them to keep the passages of the hill country, for by them there was an entrance into Judea, and it was easy
to entrance into Judea, right? But read on.
And it was easy to stop them that would come up, because the passage was straight, for 2 men at the most.
Right. Israel is in an elevated position, so the straight gate, right, that straight area that they could see, only 2 men could come up that passage, right? So they have a tactical advantage, right? Watch this. You can hear that? You can hear
that? Play one more time out. Yeah, can hear.
Time.
Welcome, Leonidas. We have been expecting you.
The ephors, priests to the old gods, inbred swine.
What did he say? Y'all hear that?
Not really.
So it's turned up.
Priests.
I
Come,
can hear.
Leonidas. We have been expecting you.
The ephors, priests to the old gods.
E4s. They say they're what? Priests.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What we just read about who? Joachim the high priest, right?
God.
I'm telling you, bro, it's like they made this movie word for word, bro. Look, bro, when I was going back to preparing this lesson for y'all last week, right, and I was like, bro, this sounds exactly like, whoa, this is crazy, right? Watch.
Inbred swine, more creature than man. Creatures whom even Leonidas must bribe and beg.
There's no question we face the most massive army ever assembled.
Before your plans.
See that? He called it the what? The most
massive army
ever assembled.
Right.
Right? Like he said, he making this army, putting this army together to blot out the sun, right? To cover the whole face of the earth as it read in the scriptures. Right? Let's continue.
What do you offer?
You see, he asked him, what do he offer, right? Because you know that we priests are not supposed to be about the money, right? In our culture, right? Their service is to Yahweh. They're his portion, right? To do his work in the temple, right? But we have priests that you can read about in the books of the Kings. I think that's First Samuel. That were very, very greedy, right? For the filthy lucre, all right? Right out scriptures, man.
Our superior fighting skills and the terrain of Greece herself to destroy them. We will march north to the coast, where I will make sure.
It is August, Leonidas. The full moon approaches. The sacred and ancient festival.
He said, what approaches? The full moon approaches a sacred festival. Wickedness, man.
Sparta wages no war at the time of the carnage.
Sparta will burn!
And by the way, right, we know that we would inquire of our priest, our priest would inquire of the Heavenly Father on whether or not we should do certain things also, right? That's why when you read it says that there was no Urim and no Thummim, right? I'm not doing a lesson on the Urim and the Thummim right now, but the Urim and the Thummim was used to commune with the Heavenly Father, and the Levitical priests, they get message from Yahweh. So it's like oracles, right? These are oracles, right? The priests are oracles. They keep the oracles of Yahweh, right? The law. All right. See how I'm telling you this is right out the Bible. I'm telling you, man, it's perverse, but they basically rip the story to show you I'm trying to show y'all, right, how again the story of 300 is the story in Judah. Basically, they kind of ripped it, really a lot of it word for word, but then different aspects of the scriptures also being used to help lay out the story in this movie. That's why I said every story you've ever heard is based off the Bible. All right? Something in the Bible. All right, so let's keep going.
Her men will die at arms, and her women and children will be slaves or worse.
Hey, yeah, shout out to the sister Tanya J. Yeah, fair use if I didn't mention it, right? Fair use, right? Type it again in the chat if you live, right? Let me type it too, right? Fair use, man. It's just our thoughts, right? And opinions, right? And commentary on this information right here, right? So it's fair use act. All right.
Now, we will block the Persian coastal assault by rebuilding the Great Ocean Wall. And from there, we will funnel them into the mountain pass we call the Hot Gates. Now, in that narrow corridor.
And now what? See that? Family? Let's run that back one more time, right?
Hold on, Salaki. I just tried to go on a live stream on YouTube. It says stream unavailable. You've been suspended for policy violations.
Oh,
by rebuilding.
God dang it. All right. Man, I should have known, man. I should have known. All right. I gotta strike. We're gonna end this live stream right here, and I'm gonna have to come back tomorrow. Goodness gracious. Hey, water, man. Oh, that's my fault, Akim. I forgot to say fair use. And I only use like a minute. I mean, I see mad people use clips. Why they banging on me for this? Because I'm showing I must be hitting the nerve, man.
Yeah, I literally was doing the same thing. I was sending this to my wife.
I'm gonna close out, brothers, real quick. And y'all just stay right here. I'm gonna just end.
King Corn beats be killing shit. We was powers on this earth once, and we was all about the mirth once. Idol worship, murder like the first of the month. Hit a nigga with the bic like you need a light. That's what you do when you on fourth, or else you got a punt. But we ain't needed when we cry for Egypt flesh, nah. So it's Egypt that we got, and we hella mad. These crackers soaring off our shoulders like some hella pads. They see our sweat, but they don't feel us like we holograms. I'll be damned, another black man shot again.